This isn't therapy. It's a reckoning. For the men who've been lied to about love, and the women who sold safety instead of truth. We say the things you're not supposed to say out loud. I'm Author. This is Cuff. Every week, we go deeper. There's a version of growth that looks exactly like growth. You're reading, you're learning, you're naming the patterns. You understand why things happen the way they did. You can see the mechanics of your own behavior with a clarity you never had before. And you're still standing in the same place. Not because you're lazy, not because you're broken, because knowing and becoming are not the same thing. And for a long time, longer than I want to admit, I mistook one for the other. That's where we're starting today, integration in what it actually takes to close the gap between understanding your life and living it. 2 musings, 20 minutes. Let's get into it. Like many of the topics in the Architecture of Self series, I'd never given many of these components much thought. I think when I thought of integration, it was just something that you do while you grow. But I never really separated the individual components from each other. And that's where this became truly, truly eye-opening. So, first of all, go to the show notes, read Musing 113, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. I, like a lot of people, fell into the trap of thinking that the answers that I needed to some of my behaviors that I didn't like or I wasn't proud of, or insight into where a relationship went wrong, is in a book on some shelf, or is in some TED Talk on YouTube. And for a long time, I really thought that by learning some new words and definitions and some mechanisms, that was growth. I don't want to discount it and say that it is not part of growth at all, because that is incorrect. But this is only one step on the journey of growth. This is building awareness, which, as we've shown throughout this arc, awareness is the first step. Without awareness, you don't go anywhere. I'm sure you know a person in your life who has zero awareness. They're perfect. Everyone else is wrong. They never do anything. It's exhausting. And I'm sure we have all been like that in some regard, where we don't see it. We have blinders on. And that was a truly eye-opening experience for me, working through the architecture of control series because it opened up my eyes and created awareness about how our strengths can also be detrimental to a relationship if we're not aware of them. And so awareness is powerful, and all of those reading, listening, etc. is building awareness. But you can't stop there, because if you only take the information and don't put it into place or action, you have nothing more than a bunch of information that you're not actually using. And I really came to a crossroads working through this musing and writing. Was I don't want to be a person that just reads books, has all the latest jargon and clinical terms and all of that nonsense, and I'm still the same person I was months or years ago. I don't want that. I don't want that for you, and I don't want that for me. If I'm going through the cases, so to speak, and investing time, energy, whatever, into learning, then I should go all the way. And I should make these things become a part of myself or integrated. And so my focus after working through this musing has shifted way more onto the action component. Between what I knew, the amount of research, reading, etc. I've done for a lot of this writing, I don't want to know that there's a ton more that I really need to read right now or listen to. What I need is more repetitions. I need more reps and more reps and more reps. Because eventually, when you do enough repetitions, it becomes, me use an old football some football terminology here, it becomes muscle memory. It's similar to when these special operations forces train for these missions and they just move. They don't even think about it. The training is so ingrained in them that they basically go almost on autopilot. That's what I want these changes to become, is second nature. There's no more negotiating with myself about having ice cream every day for dessert, or if I should go to the gym, or if I have time for this, that, or the other thing. I don't want to negotiate with myself. The areas that I have integrated, those are so fulfilling for not only feeling great about not even having to notice that something has become who you are now. It's become a part of identity. Yes, that feels great. What feels even better is the freedom that comes with not having to negotiate every fucking thing with myself. Think of all that time and energy and frustration or whatever else you want to throw in there of not negotiating with yourself and not fighting with yourself. It's amazing. It is a great feeling. I want that across every facet of my life eventually. Not there, but I'm closer. I'm much closer to where I want to be than where I was. And I'll take that. So that's Musing 113 again. It's in the show notes. Click it, go read it. And while you're down in the show notes, open up 114 and let's talk about embodiment. I'm just going to be very honest here. I hadn't given much thought to embodiment for my entire life, essentially. I confused integration and embodiment and thought they were just one and the same, interchangeable. But that is not true, because the way I look at embodiment now is when the integration becomes so ingrained and so a part of you that all of these integrations start to click together and become one large functional system, let's call it. And I think, like a lot of people, I have this idea in my head where I think of embodiment as it takes over and it is now all one. Yes, that would be amazing if it worked that way. From my experience, it doesn't work that way at all. It starts incrementally. Excuse me. And when I mean it starts incrementally, when you're working through things and you're working on behaviors or relationship dynamics, some are easier than others, which makes sense, right? Some of our behaviors are very, very ingrained. There could be trauma, there could be a whole bunch of stuff going on. So yes, some of them are going to be significantly easier than others. Makes sense, okay. So let's move and go a step further. So now if we're working on integration and we're integrating things piece by piece, and of course, low-hanging fruit goes first and move up to the next tier or layer or whatever you want to call it. But what starts happening in the background is these little systems that you're integrating start to overlap. And they start to become one with each other. And I have noticed this. Here's a recent example. Is I have talked ad nauseum on the podcast and in the musings about my conflict avoidance. Well, instead of me having to really focus on tackling the whole problem of avoidance, given the work that I have done on self-awareness, intellectual honesty, truth, honesty, all of those things, because of the fact that all of those smaller components are becoming integrated into me, they're starting to click together. And now I'm noticing the avoidance is lessening because of the fact that I'm just being upfront and honest about things, including holding myself accountable. I'm not waiting for the other shoe to drop, so to speak. Now I'm much more preemptive, where I will just straight up tell someone, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm not proud of it, but I did this. I apologize, working on it, and I will get better. And that's it. And when you come up with it on your own accord, where they don't have to have the gotcha moment, it's not nearly as bad. And the person's response to you being honest and holding yourself accountable before something goes sideways tells them a lot about who you are as a person. And what I've often find now is a lot of times people will actually thank you. I've had people thank me like, wow, thanks for telling me that. A lot of people would have tried to brush it under the rug, but I appreciate that. And so now I've walked away from a situation where I didn't avoid conflict. I was honest. I was accountable. And in that instance, I just built trust. Sure, they might still be a little disappointed, a little hurt, a little angry. But look at how they're leaving the situation compared to how I used to do things. This is embodiment in real time. And what's interesting is in the moment, it doesn't feel like this big transformation. I've noticed that it has meant stillness, peace in my life, which I absolutely love. But what I have to keep reminding myself is this is what you worked for. Like, if I was expecting fireworks and slaps on the back and attaboys, then I was in it for the wrong thing. And that's how I know that I'm on the right track and I'm doing what I need to. And yes, like I wrote in Musing 114, there are times where I do question and struggle with where I'm at, how far along am I. I'm a benchmarker. I love to benchmark because I'm competitive. But with this, you can't benchmark. So what I've often find myself doing is, and this is a shameless plug, and I don't care because I spend so much time on these burn worksheets, but the nightly check-in, I find myself using that nightly check-in so often to pinpoint where I did well in the day, where I struggled a little bit. And to be honest with you, when I've seen these examples, that's when I started to see embodiment starting to gradually work its way throughout me. Yes, it's going to take time. We didn't learn the behavior in one day. You don't unlearn it in one day. You don't integrate it in one day, so it doesn't become embodied in one day. But we're moving in the right direction. And I just want to leave with one little tidbit, one little kind of happy, positive thing. But I am extremely proud of you for making it this far. This has not been easy material. The fact that you made it here says a lot. Be proud. I am. Hold the standard. Stay close.